Okay, we're going to try something new here. I'm working on a customer's 25 Creedmoor that's going to be going on a Zermatt TL3 left hand. So that should be interesting. Just getting ready to start dialing this in. Those of you that don't know, I have a true bore alignment system chuck. This allows me to set the axial and radial runout directly on the chuck itself, so I don't need an inboard or outboard spider. It's all right here in the chuck itself. So that could be quite time consuming, so I'm not going to video that. I'll come back for that. I will be using my through bore flush system on this. I have not got that set up quite yet. I can show you that though. Disconnect here. So I've got the end of the barrel drilled and tapped, and then this is going to screw in. Like so. And that will give me a nice seal where it's not going to leak or anything. Yeah, I've got the air blowout. Blow out any remaining oil, so I'm not blowing chips down the barrel. Yeah, so there, we're going to start with that. Let me get this dialed in, and then we'll come back. Okay, I'm back. I'm nice and true. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting my tenon here. So the Zermatt TL3 has a 1062 by 20 threads per inch. The right tool here. I'm going to start by facing this off. I use a high-speed steel tool for facing because I think it just gives me a better finish. Show me where I need to be here. Gear going the right direction. Touch off here. Not going the right direction. There we go. Lock the carriage. And start our basic pull. As I go through some of the stuff, I'll speed up. I will try to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I can't guarantee that that's always going to be what's going to happen here. I'm going to pay more attention to that than that. I don't know why, but for some reason this high-speed steel insert that I have just gives me a much better finish on my facing passes than any of the carbide tools that I have. I'm only running 560 RPM, so I just like everything to work nice. Clean that off. And beautiful. This is going on a Zermatt TL3 short action for 25 Creedmoor. Zermatt has a flat reach face, which is pretty nice. Just set my zeros here. this 813 thou. Well, 813 thou. So we're going to start with that. This is my first one. It should be pretty close to on the money. There's 813. Set a 0. Set the 0 on my dial because I like to watch that as I'm coming to the end of my cut. I use both the dials and the DRO. That's what that is. Check my 0. It's pretty good right there. Zero on the cross slide. And let's take our first cut. Take heavy cuts. I don't need to pump all kinds of material real quick. So 10, 20 cal tops. Pull the tool back out and then come back and restart my cuts. I'll do a couple more passes. This is going to take quite a while, so I'll do a couple more passes here and then I'll come back when I'm at the correct diameter that I need. Taking heavier cuts, I don't think it would be as big of a deal. Like I said, I feel that I don't need to. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Using a wireless lapel mic. Krieger 25 cal blank. I'll look at the notes, I believe it's 107. Directly on the barrel for this one. Usually I've got quite a bit more stick off because I use an aluminum collar. I'm not doing that this time. I will come back and polish up the barrel on the belt sander, get all the tooling marks off. This customer was looking for a bead finish anyway, so I might see if I can do a little bit of a satin finish. That's what my belt sander will allow me to do. See how that turns out. So So here's 100 thou, so I'll finish this pass and then I'm going to come back. Alright, I shall be back. Okay, bringing it back in here, I have got my tenon all cut, verified my length, cut a scratch pass on my thread, got that all set up. I'm using my auto retract threading tool on this since I've got to get pretty close to the shoulder. Normally I will thread in reverse away from the headstock, but I don't want the big deep groove there, so you can see where the thread's going to end pretty close there. Hopefully you can see that on the GoPro. Kind of wish the GoPro had a little bit better zoom on it, but it is what it is. So I'm going to start out real slow here. Hopefully you guys can see everything. The light was pretty reflective here. We'll try it. Yeah, really not a whole lot better here. So we'll go without the light. Hopefully you guys will be able to see everything just fine. So I'm going to start out in pretty slow speed and just verify my thread before I get going here. I've already got my 0 set. Like I say, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of talking here. I'm just verifying stuff. Yep, that looks good. So pretty neat tool. Can't really see it here. I'll take you off. So the auto retract threader has a lever right here that pulls that tool back in away from your workpiece. It's spring activated. It's a direct spring pulling straight back. The Gen 1 version was a little bit different. That was off to the side. Here's the Gen 1 version. So it introduced a little bit of a side load to the tool. You can't get quite as close to the headstock and your work as you can with the Gen 2. I like it. Works really well. It gives me good threads. I'm able to do class 3 fits. No issues whatsoever. I had to build a little stop to actuate the lever here. There we go. Oops. Didn't quite have that in the frame, but you guys get the gist of it. Alright. Enough of that. I am going to set you back up here. Check some angles. Hopefully that looks pretty good. Bring it down just a little bit. We'll try that. As I've said several times before, I am not a videographer. I'm just a guy in a shop doing what he wants to do here. So I'm going to start out with a 10 thou cut on low speed. This is 57 RPM. I'm going to speed it up till my number comes across, because that's pretty slow. That'll take forever. Once I'm confident that I'm not going to run into the shoulder, I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. It's okay, I'm going to pay more attention to my work than talking. There we go. Slowing down as I reach the headstock. Perfect. So, that went well. Speed it up a little more. Get it up to about 95 RPM. Wait for my number to come around. I thread on one number with everything. I know even threads, you can thread on any number or hash mark. This just one number's easier. Less to remember. And I forgot to feed in. That's okay. Scratch pass. Verifying is good. Give it another 10 thou here. We'll add a little oil. Speed it up to about 100. I feed straight in. Feeding straight in with this tool is better than feeding with the cross slide, because then your thread ends in the same spot every time. If you feed in with the cross slide, it's going to end in different areas because you're feeding in at an angle. I am not good enough or fast enough to operate both the crank and the half nut lever at the same time while trying to make sure that I don't crash into the shoulder. That's why I use this tool. It works. The machining on it is phenomenal. Very tight tolerances. Want to look it up, it's called the auto retract threading tool. I'm going to start feeding in just a couple thou, increasing my speed. 150. Threads per inch. Waiting for my number. Everything's in focus for you guys. Let me speed up the video through this part. It's like the turning, it's going to get a little monotonous. So I'm taking a few thou cuts at once. Up to 50 thou. Once again, feeding straight in. Chips seem to work better. Not sure if you can tell on the video, but my flats are still pretty big, so it's Not even close to time for me to start checking fit. Oh, broke the tip. Change that real quick. Thought that was sounding a little funny. Nice sharp tip here. When you're switching out your inserts or putting a new one in, you don't need to crank down on that. Those are a bugger to get off when you do. So I'm going to come back a couple thou here. Take some more passes. Chips off my oil here. Just missed my number, but that's okay. I went back to 46 thou. Just to clean stuff up here. Waiting for my number. Cleaning up a little bit. Since I don't know where that tip broke, I'm assuming it was on the end of the thread. I'm just coming in 2 thou at a time. Yeah, it's cleaning it up too. You're not hearing that great big clump at the end. Go back to 52 thou, 52 and a half. Just a little bit of crud there. I'm cleaning that up and trying to test fit. I think we're a little bit off yet. Grab the action and I'll be right back. Let's see where we are. Still pretty tight. Alright, I'm going to finish this up here. That way I don't have to pay attention to the camera. Yeah, it's finishing real nice there. What the heck, I'll leave it going. I'll just speed up through here. Tip again. Back to 52. Scratch pass. Actually, I'm going to slow this down. Put it in high gear. It's 270. Scratch pass is good. Waiting for my number. That's okay, because I'm not in a hurry. Let's check that. That's... the flats are getting pretty narrow. I need to take the rail off of this. I'm starting. Where's my diameter? 106.1's right there. Zermatt calls for class 3 fit. We'll take another couple thou. Scratch pass. Okay, bringing it back there. I ran out of battery. So, that took a good thread on the last one. Hopefully you guys got that. I'm going to try another fit. Just to verify. Still pretty tight. Try and file it down. Still pretty tight. This is one area where full profile inserts would be nice. Pretty expensive. I already spent a lot of money on this. Take a scratch pass and check the fit there. That looks really good. Nice fit, minimal wobble, no back and forth. I might need to take, I need to take one more scratch pass. That's just a tad tight. Yep. Not going any further with that. Maybe give it another thou. We'll see. Start with the scratch passes. Not in a hurry. Scratch pass took nothing. Another foul here. Don't want to get greedy. That's good. Very little movement. A little tight at the end. Might need a thread file. Fits good. Should have no clearance. Yep, it falls nice and clear. Back and forth movement. I'm gonna say that's gonna be good. Let me break that back loose. Just to clean that up just a skosh. Checks and everything. That happens to everybody. Maybe we can take another 1,000th tube. Oh, feels pretty good. That's done. Another check. Still a little tight there. Really no movement, so that's your class 3 fit. Good engagement all the way around. I think this is going to be good. Sorry about the air compressor. So from here, I need to drill and bore and then run the reamer through and get this chambered. I am going to need my tailstock for that. I'm one of the guys that uses the tailstock for chambering. I really don't have a good way to mount the camera and still be able to pay attention to what I'm doing when I'm reaming. So I'm not going to video that part. I will bring you back after I've got headspace, and then we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. Okay, I'm doing a little handheld clip here real quick. I'm not going to video while I'm reaming. There's just too much stuff in the way and I don't feel like monkeying around with the camera. Worried about that while I'm reaming. So I have the bore pre-drilled and bored out to about 10 thousandths under the beginning dimension of the shoulder right here. So what was that, 455 thousandths or so. I think I measured that at 466, so that'll give it a little meat. My first line here is about where the headspace gauge is supposed to headspace. The second line is the actual end of the headspace gauge. So as soon as I start getting close to this, I'm going to start test fitting and measuring with feeler gauges. So that's about that. We got the through bore flush system going on here. We got air hooked up to blow out when needed. Drilled and tapped into the end of the barrel. That's my cutoff. He wants it 26 inches, so that inch will be cut off. So yeah, there we go. That's what we got going on. We'll be back when I'm done. Okay, bringing it back here. I've got everything all reamed and looking good. Still need to rough up the chamber a little bit. It's really smooth. A brand new Manson reamer, so she's a mirror finish. So just to show you again, bolt closes. Got plenty of back and forward movement, so it's not tight on the breech. We got a go gauge, Manson go gauge. Closes, zero resistance. Really no back and forth movement. We got a no-go gauge. Stops dead. Perfect headspace. So there we go. We have a TL3, Zermatt arms, Krieger Barrel, JR Precision. Look me up for your next build or rebarrel. Thanks for watching. You see a bunch of people online talking about the chamber run out after they're done reaming the chamber. So I'm at the back of the chamber here. There you go. I just got done roughing up the chamber. It was a brand new Manson reamer, so it was mirror smooth. So you rough it up just a little bit with a little bit of 320. So you're going to see a little bit of movement on the needle from that, but you can watch the run out yourself here. So zero movement other than a little bit of roughness from the emery cloth. Let's move up the chamber here. We'll stop about halfway. Move up the chamber. A little rough there. Might be some emery in there yet. Up into the shoulder. Into the neck. Just make sure I'm not bottomed out here. That's the neck. Let's get up into the lands. There we go. There you go. Pretty much zero run out.